All praise is due to Allah, who has united the hearts of the believer in Islam and has made it an obligation to remain united, and has made it forbidden to become separated in his clear book. I bear witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah, who guides to the straight path whom he wills, and I bear witness that our leader Muhammad is his messenger and the best caller to the way that is straight. O Allah, send your prayers and your peace upon our leader Muhammad and upon his family and upon his companions, whose hearts were united and whose souls were educated, so that they became victorious leaders. And what follows thereafter, O believers of Allah, I advise you as well as I advise myself, to first have the proper regard for Allah, and thereafter be obedient to Him. Dear believers, I greet you with the universal greetings of peace, Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be with you. This week we are looking at the attribute of Ar-Rauf, which means the most kind. And this attribute Ar-Rauf is also, when we talk about it, we refer to it or we think about it in the context of Allah having pity or showing pity. And that is the, I don't know if the activator or the impetus for this kindness is there, where Allah feels a particular way about us. And when we discuss or we think about Allah, we talk about him in the context of having the capacity or the ability to do anything. And so when we think and use this terminology of pity regarding Allah, we think that, well, why would Allah pity someone, or why would Allah need to pity anything if he has the capacity to change their condition? And we know that the Quran talks about that Allah won't change the condition of a person until they change what's in their own soul. So here it is that our inaction is the cause of this, or is not the cause, because Allah will do what he wills, but is a reason for this. And we know that throughout the studies, throughout the things that we learn, reading the Quran, listening to the different scholars, we know that Allah has the capacity to do all things to benefit us, and he also has incorporated different aspects and different things and teachings that are benefit for us. When we think about the benefits of fasting, what we said for our sins to be forgiven, fasting from one day to another day, or specific days during the year of our years to be forgiven. Now Allah is giving this opportunity for us to change our condition, to improve ourselves, but because we do not, or because we revert back to the things that he does not want for us, we create a scenario in which now we are the recipients of what was promised. And that's what was promised to those who did not follow his will. And so then that's where this idea of this pity, this feeling bad for the individual who does not do that, because they did not listen, they did not follow what was asked or commanded of them, and now they are subject to the next life being not as enjoyable as they would like. And that's to mildly put it. So this idea of Allah being the most kind, Ar-Rauf, it's him providing all these opportunities, providing all these things, all these teachings, all these instructions for us to achieve a positive afterlife or a positive next life in the hereafter. So this is why he is Ar-Rauf. And many times when we think about, sometimes we may consider that as a mercy of Allah, and it is. But there are different aspects. They're different. When we look at Allah, when we start looking at these attributes, we see that they introduce or they address particular subjects or particular aspects of a whole. So yes, that opportunity, or yes, these things may be a mercy or a blessing from Allah, but it's also takes place. That mercy is experienced because of Allah's kindness. So Allah is the most kind. Allah is الرؤوف. أقول قول استغفر لي ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. So Allah is Al-Latīf. Allah is the most kind. And with all the attributes we talked about before, where this prefix of Al, or when we're discussing certain types of letters, we blend the sound, but it's still written the same way. Just the pronunciation is different based on whether it's a sun or a moon letter. But when we talk about Ar-Ra'uf, Allah being the most kind, is because He is the most kind. There are some who are kind. There are some we may view as most kind amongst a certain group of people or a certain thing. But Allah is the most kind. Because, as we stated before, that Allah's kindness does not extend to the end of this life, this natural life. It extends into the next life. His kindness is still present in the next life. And some of the actions that He takes not only are kind to you or benefit you in this life, like the kindness that He may show you in this life doesn't, the effects of that don't just stop here. They continue on. So Allah is Ar-Ra'uf. Allah is the most kind. And so to this concept, to this idea of pity, where Allah may feel this pity for His creation, may feel this, and sometimes when we use terminology, we think about what our context in our life or understanding of the word is, and so we apply it based on that framework, not necessarily thinking holistically or more comprehensively about it. So this idea of pity, it's like if I feel sorry for my child because they're going to do something, that they have the capacity to do something, and I know what that outcome is if they do that thing. So I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry because I know that their understanding is limited, that they're probably going to make this choice, that there's a high likelihood that they're going to make this choice. So I feel sorry for the action that they're going to take, because I know what the outcome is. Maybe I lived through it. Maybe someone I know has experienced with that. So I feel pity for them because they're in an environment, they're in a mind state, they're in a situation that leads to this conclusion, and I feel bad for them. So what do? I provide them information. I provide them knowledge. I provide them kindness so that they listen to me, so that they hear the things that I say. I make every opportunity that I can to keep them out of this situation. But it might be outside of my reach. We know this isn't the case for Allah, but it might be outside of my reach to be able to influence my child to do the right thing. It might be outside of my reach for me to communicate effectively as to why. Maybe I don't have the words to say. Maybe our history isn't such to where they'll listen to me. And so I have this pity. I feel bad for them because I know the outcome of this situation. I know what it's gonna do to them, how it's gonna affect them, how it's gonna change their life. And so I feel bad, and I have this pity in my heart. And that's us. That's our context. That's our understanding of this idea of pity and the reason as to why I'm now kind. The reason as to why I want to help. There's the verse that says it's a part of the mercy of Allah that you deal gently with them, because otherwise they would break away from you. So I feel this pity in my heart, and so I know that I have to be kind to them because they'll break away from me and they'll go on and do this thing that is harmful to them. And maybe I've already not been kind to them. And now I'm trying to work backwards. Now I'm trying to build that relationship back up because I see them going down the same road that I travel. But Allah is Ar-Rauf. Allah is the most kind. Allah has the ability to see. He knows what our future holds. Allah knows what's to come in our life and in the next life. And so there's this concept of He's giving us, extending this kindness to us because of what could be there for us if we don't live properly. So Allah is Ar-Rauf. Allah is the most kind. He cares for you. He doesn't want you to suffer. He doesn't want you to experience this next life that'll be less than productive for you, or less than your desires. So let's be grateful to Allah for His kindness and for His consideration. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك السميع العليم. إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له بذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.